Almost every athlete that makes it to the professional ranks admits they didn't or couldn't do it on their own. There's always that one special person behind the scenes that went above and beyond to make their dream become a reality. Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Bob Poley is no different. For Bob, it was a high school coach that helped turn him from a farm boy who never played a down of football into a Grey Cup champion. With that story, here's one of Bob's best friends and fellow Grey Cup champion, Roger Aldag.
Grey Cup Stories, brought to you by Rona.
Time. It's kind of a funny thing. It is both finite and subjective, abundant yet precious.
Time seems to go quick. Sometimes not quick enough if you're in the lead, and maybe a little too quick when you're behind.
For a football player, mere seconds can be the difference between defeat and victory.
It's up! It's good! To put your hands on the handles of that Grey Cup, nothing like it.
But after the clock runs out and a dream has been realized, how then does one spend their time?
My first thought process was I've got to share this with the first guy that got me involved in organized football, to just say, you know, you're a big part of this. I grew up on a little farm just outside of Prairie River, Saskatchewan. This is the home place. This is where I grew up, in the old house is over there. We had a mixed farm. We had cattle, we milked cows. It had everything from pigs, chickens, grain, the whole thing. This is the old 1-ton that my dad used to haul grain to town, and just about everything. This is what I learned to drive when I was fairly young, so. A lot of guys and young athletes now, they would lift weights, but I was lifting bales and carrying pails.
Back then, the only fields Bob Poley really knew were covered with crops. In fact, he never played an organized football game until he reached high school in the nearby town of Hudson Bay. And even then, the game was far from a priority.
Football is in the fall of the year, and it was harvest time. There's no waiting on a football game if there's combining to be done.
It didn't help that the Hudson Bay football program was in disarray. But in 1971, a dapper young coach by the name of Gordon Brown came on the scene, and that all changed.
Unbelievably hard. Drill Sergeant Brown, they called him.
I asked for the playbook from the kids when I first got up there from the previous year, and a lot of times the kids would say, well, we just go in the huddle and tell you to go this way and you go to that way, and that's what we'll try to do.
Drawing plays up in the dirt as we went wasn't that much structure.
We didn't have a good reputation. I know even the cheerleaders were, you know, they'd be smoking on the bench and things like that.
Gord brought structure, credibility, and success to the football program. He also showed Bob firsthand what it meant to compete.
The potential was there, like being at the size he was, being that he could turn into another person on the field.
I know Gord saw something in me that he actually thought, we have to get this guy to the next level.
So Coach Brown took it upon himself to make that happen. He personally arranged for Bob to attend a Saskatchewan Rough Rider high school camp in Regina.
You know, looking back now, boy, I'm pretty thankful that Gordon Brown did that for me. Without that, I'd have probably been a great big pig farmer from Prairie River, Saskatchewan. It was a big deal, a big deal.
That camp turned out to be the launching point for a 15-year CFL career, highlighted by a Grey Cup championship in 1989.
Myself and Roger Aldag were pretty fortunate to have the football team to actually allow us to have it for a weekend.
Bob called and he told me what was happening, and he said, I want to make it a big surprise for Gord.
I couldn't for the life of me imagine who was that special that we had to make sure we were home and that the house was clean.
He was sort of just sitting around that day when we come rolling through. They had him buffaloed pretty good.
All of a sudden, the doorbell rang, and there is Big Bob walking in with the Grey Cup.
Set it on the table, and he just kind of looked up and he went, wow, isn't that nice? And I said, yeah, pretty nice.
It's probably one of the better moments of my life.
He kept saying after, whoa, I can't believe Bob brought the Grey Cup to our house. Why would he bring it to ours when there's so many other people?
I felt that it was owed. Without you, this wouldn't be possible, and it was a wonderful thing to do, wonderful thing to do.
Just the fact that Bob thought enough of me to make that stop in Melville and share that moment with me. I'll be forever grateful. And there's a picture of you. Wow. That's a good picture.
That's a good action shot of me, right? Drinking out of a Gatorade bottle.
He's always been very gracious in how he credits me for his success, but the success obviously lies with the fact that he had the ability and the desire to take it to that level.
Oh yeah, there's a stud there.
Oh yeah. A smile on your face, oh eh? Those curly locks, what happened to him?
He's a pretty humble guy, but he shouldn't be. He's changed a lot of the people's lives that he's touched, and I'm one of them. Without him, I wouldn't have made that trip down to Regina or moved on, and I owe him a lot for that.
Grey Cup Stories, brought to you by Rona.
Next year, Regina will play host to the 101st edition of the Grey Cup. Until then, fans will get a chance to catch a glimpse of the championship trophy at various events throughout the city of Regina before the Cup catches the train up north to Saskatoon on Sunday. Lee Jones, TSN, Regina.